Twilight Hears the Narrator by Stratocaster. It was a perfectly ordinary sunny day in the town of Ponyville. The humble pony folk were out and about tending to their daily business, and life couldn't be more quaint. Twilight Sparkle walked with a spring in her step, back home to Friendship Castle. She had just received a new authentic book on conjuration spells and...
Hello?
She suddenly stopped and peered upward. Hello?
Who are you?
She asked, looking quite confused. Well, I'm the narrator of the story.
Narrator? What are you talking about?
Twilight looked around.
Where are you?
Don't worry about it, okay? Just carry on with your day. Twilight paused with suspicion.
All right then.
She then continued trotting. A few days ago, Twilight had received a task charged by Princess Celestia to uncover the spells used by the many wizards and alchemists of the medieval era. She was rather excited to get to work on...
Are you a ghost?
She stopped in her tracks again and looked up. Excuse me?
If I can hear you but can't see you, then you must be some kind of spirit, right?
She explained. I'm not a ghost, okay? I told you, I'm the narrator.
The narrator of what?
This story.
What story?
She grew impatient. The story involving your life?
Is this some kind of practical joke?
Twilight darted around, aggravated.
Is Rainbow up to this? If she's hiding in a cloud somewhere, I swear I will...
Look, there's no prank going on. I don't know how you can hear me all of a sudden, but just try to ignore me, got it?
It's kind of hard to ignore a strange voice coming from nowhere.
She rolled her eyes.
And how do you know everything that I'm doing?
Because I'm the narrator!
That still doesn't explain anything!
She shouted in outrage.
Quit it!
Yikes! Twilight, who are you talking to?
Asked Rainbow, swooping down from above.
Rainbow,
Said Twilight.
you can hear him, can't you?
Hear who?
She replied.
The narrator? He keeps commentating everything you do and says things after you're done speaking, like, she said.
She said. Rainbow stared at Twilight as if she had grown another head.
Is this some kind of inside joke I don't know about? I get pretty steamed when I'm not let in on a joke.
Oh, come on, Rainbow!
Urged Twilight.
If I can clearly hear him, then you must too!
Are you feeling alright, Twi?
Queried Rainbow.
You're talking pretty crazy.
I'm not crazy! He's there! I'm telling you!
Replied Twilight.
Look, Twilight. I think you've just been reading those spells too much. Maybe you should just relax for a while, huh?
But...
I got something to do. So, feel better. See ya!
Twilight looked back up at the sky with a glare.
Do you see what you did? You just made me seem like a lunatic in front of my friend.
Don't blame me, you're the one barking at the wind. Twilight stormed off.
Whatever. I'm going home. Maybe I am working too hard.
A tad disgruntled, Twilight finally returned to her castle with her tome in her saddlebag. She entered the newly furnished living room and dropped her bag and plopped onto the couch, rubbing her eyes as if she were annoyed by a constant droning noise. After a while, she had grown quite accustomed to her crystal home. She had been busy filling it with a large collection of books and...
Will you give it a rest already? And how do you know so much about my life?
Twilight? Who are you yelling at?
Spike, am I crazy?
Asked Twilight.
Well, yes, but you could be worse. Why do you ask?
Spike replied. Twilight let the comment slide and explained.
Just earlier, I've started to hear this annoying voice narrating everything I do, and he keeps following me, it seems. I don't suppose you've heard anything like that?
A voice? Not really. Is he saying anything now?
He asked.
There! Right there!
She pointed.
He just said, he asked, right after you spoke.
Well, that's weird. I wonder why he can see me, but I can't see or hear him.
The dragon scratched his head.
Right? So you actually believe me?
Replied Twilight.
Twi, I've seen some pretty crazy stuff with you and the girls. Not much surprises me anymore.
Well, I think I might have an idea of what's going on. I started hearing this narrator just after I received this conjuring book from Princess Celestia. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that this book comes with a curse.
Curse?
Bugged Spike.
Yes. It's possible that I've been joined by a spirit who dwells within this book.
She nodded.
You mean a ghost? No way! I ain't dealing with a ghost. Way too scary.
Spike, I'm pretty sure you've dealt with ghosts at least twice before.
Twilight discerned.
Spirits be gone!
Spike then proceeded to light an incense candle and wave it above his head.
Be gone from this castle! This is my soul! You can't have it! I'm not gonna let you haunt me! Ah!
Spike! Wait!
Called Twilight. And what makes you think I came from your book? Twilight looked up.
Well, what other explanation is there? I bet you're really the spirit of the last owner of this book. I bet that you cast a spell that preserved your soul within the pages.
You keep telling yourself that. Not like any pony else will believe you.
We'll just see about that. Maybe Rainbow and Spike couldn't hear you because they don't know magic. I should just talk to a unicorn.
This isn't part of the story I planned.
I don't know what that means, but I don't care.
Twilight insisted and trotted off.
I'm going to see what my friend Rarity has to say about you. Whoever you are.
Fine, you go do that. As she left the castle, Spike poked his head back into the room.
Wait, did you say Rarity? Tell her I love her! No, wait! Don't tell her that! Tell her I'm thinking of her? No, tell her I'm thinking of her! You know, like, it's no big deal.
He called it no pony. Twilight made her way over to the Carousel Boutique at an urgent pace. Upon arrival, she knocked on the door with her large, meaty hooves.
What did you just say?
She glared. Oh, sorry. Too much fun at your expense?
You know darn well my hooves aren't meaty.
Twilight, were you just speaking just now?
Came Rarity's voice as she opened the door.
Oh, Rarity, there's something I need to ask you about. Have you been hearing any strange voices lately?
Said Twilight.
Whatever do you mean?
Asked Rarity.
You know, some unseen pony narrating every move you make, every word you say.
She urged.
Good heavens, Twilight! Is there some pony stalking you? Show yourself, you scoundrel! I will not let you hound my friend!
Gasped Rarity, looking around past her friend.
Well, that's not entirely false, but I don't think there's any pony physically following me.
Twilight scratched her mane.
Well, what's going on, dear?
My theory is that there's some kind of magic spirit that can see everything we do, and only unicorns can pick up his voice. I was hoping that you would be able to hear him too.
Oh, or perhaps I'm just not that good at magic as you are to understand.
Maybe you just need to hone in on my magic aura. Do you mind if I come in?
Not at all. Why don't I get you some tea? This seems awfully perplexing.
You have no idea.
Twilight said. As soon as her designer friend left into the kitchen, Twilight took time to gather focus for her magic energy. as she looked around at the gaudy decor of the boutique.
Hey, Rarity's home isn't gaudy. You really shouldn't insult ponies who can't hear you.
She sneered. And just how do you plan to stop me?
As soon as I figure out who you are.
She glowered. Rarity quickly returned with a tea tray.
How exactly did you come by the spirit, Twilight?
She asked.
I think he manifested himself from a spellbook I was given. Now, for some reason, he just seems to keep following me without the book.
She explained.
What do you suggest we do?
Rarity sat next to her on the couch. Twilight looked at her.
I know a spell that can allow us to share a magic aura. Normally, this is used to engage in group spells, but I think it can help to reveal the spirit to you.
I'll do whatever it takes to help, Twilight.
Rarity smiled sweetly.
All right. If you're ready, close your eyes.
The room grew silent as both Twilight and Rarity faced each other and shut their eyes. Slowly and carefully, Twilight harnessed the power of her magic aura and concentrated it until it began to envelop her and her friend. The bright purple cloud of magic energy held for several moments as Rarity focused as hard as she could. Then the aura slowly dissipated, and the two mares opened their eyes.
Well? Do you hear him?
Asked Twilight.
I can't tell.
Here, I'll help.
Twilight got up.
You should hear him now.
With a sort of giddiness, Twilight sprang from the couch into the middle of the floor and began dancing erratically. She began with a strange jumping shuffle, then moved into an awkward form of the Charleston and the jitterbug. Then she moved into a disco, proceeding with the hustle, the robot, and a roller skate dance without roller skates. She finally concluded with a clumsy slide on her knees and stopped, panting heavily.
There! You heard his voice, right? Telling everything I did? You understand now, right?
She breathed heavily. Rarity stared at her for a moment, a bit shocked.
Twilight, I do understand perfectly well now.
Really?
Beamed Twilight.
I understand that you're awfully sick, and it's affecting your brain.
What?
Rarity suddenly sprang up and wrapped her hooves around her confused friend like a concerned mother.
Oh, you poor thing. All this work with magic spellbooks has put a strain on your sweet head. You need some immediate rest and relaxation.
Rarity, I don't think you...
Twilight couldn't get a word in, as she was immediately dragged off at an alarming speed. Within seconds, Rarity carried her with surprising strength all the way to the Ponyville Spa. She approached the twin owners urgently.
Aloe, Lotus, my friend is terribly ill, and she needs the full treatment.
Rarity, I'm not sick in the head. I really do hear a voice.
Protested Twilight, being lifted up.
I'm sure you do, darling, but don't you fret. You'll be rid of the bad voice in no time.
Rarity sympathized. Without hesitation, Aloe and Lotus hauled the confused Alicorn off to a separate room and dropped her in a mud bath. They then applied a slimy mud mask to her face and a pair of cucumber slices to her eyes.
I really don't think this is necessary,
Groaned Twilight.
Never you worry, Twilight. Just let the relaxation melt away your troubles,
said Rarity from the door. She turned to the Spa twins before leaving her alone.
Poor girl thinks she's being followed by a ghost.
An awkward silence fell as Twilight lay in the therapeutic mud, unsure of whether she should get out or not. Her confused little mind couldn't wrap itself around the situation she found herself in.
Stop pretending like I can't hear you. Why can't you just go away? You've just been causing trouble so far.
She scorned as she removed her cucumbers. Yeah, I don't think I can do that at the moment. Evidently, I'm not a ghost, and I've never seen that spellbook in my entire life!
So then what are you?
She persisted. How many times do I have to make this clear? I'm the narrator. Twilight slumped back in the bath, aggravated. Then she considered something.
Maybe you really are just in my head. Maybe you're just a figment of my imagination.
Could be, although I assure you I'm quite real.
Real or not, I am not having an invisible pony narrating me all my life.
Twilight grumbled. Who says I'm a pony? I mean, I could be a griffin, a dragon, a minotaur, a cow, a human, or some kind of species you can't even fathom. There are so many possibilities to count on my hooves.
Hooves? So you are a pony.
Shut up. That's when a conniving smile crossed Twilight's face.
Say, you're a male, aren't you?
Well, duh, do I sound like a filly to you?
Would you say that you would be kind enough to give a lady her privacy?
She asked knowingly. What are you talking about? Twilight then got up out of the mud and stood.
If you don't mind, I have to use the little filly's room and wash off this mask. You don't mind waiting out here, do you?
She said with a smug smile. Damn it!
I'll be just a minute.
She lied as she entered the mayor's bathroom by the baths. Oh, great. All right, here we go. Gotta keep the magic alive.
Stupid narrator. Thinks he's so clever, following me like some kind of parasite.
Twilight grumbled as she stood at the sink to splash water on her face.
What the? Ah! Are you kidding me?
Listen here, princess. You can't stop me from doing my job. I'll follow you to the ends of Equestria if I have to. So why don't you just try to deal with it, for Celestia's sake? Twilight gained an idea.
Wait a minute! Princess Celestia! If any pony can help dispel this whole thing, it's her! She's the one who gave me that conjuring book in the first place!
Where are you going with this?
To Canterlot, that's where! Some pony as powerful as Princess Celestia must be powerful enough to believe you're real.
She smiled determinedly and prepared to leave the spa. And if she doesn't, well, here's mud in your eye. Twilight glowered.
You know, you may be a narrator, but you should probably leave puns alone.
After drying the mud off, which did barely anything to help her relax, Twilight flapped her wings and set off for Canterlot Castle. Feeling as though it would help her situation, she brought along the spellbook in her bag, protecting its rough leather binding and yellow parchment pages. She finally arrived at the pristine castle after nearly clumsily flying into a zeppelin along the way.
Hey, cut it out!
She scolded. Well, it's true. Twilight entered the castle and walked through its hollow corridors until finding the graceful Sun Princess relaxing in the lounge, reading with a cup of tea.
Why, hello, Twilight. I assume you've enjoyed that conjuring book I sent you?
Greeted Celestia, putting down her copy of the Cloudsdale Underground.
Actually, Princess Celestia, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you happen to know who owned the book last?
Said Twilight, scratching her head. Celestia pondered for a moment.
I believe it was written by Star Swirl the Bearded many centuries ago, but I think he left it unfinished, and it became long forgotten. Why do you ask?
She said.
Well, promise you won't think I'm lying or crazy?
After everything you've put up with in the past, I completely trust you, my young friend.
Smiled Celestia.
Okay. Well, ever since I received the book from you, I've been hearing this strange voice commentating everything I do or say. He calls himself the Narrator, and apparently he's able to respond whenever I acknowledge him. I tried explaining this to a couple of my friends, but they didn't believe me. It could just be my imagination, but I swear this has something to do with the book.
Celestia paused to think about the problem.
You know, I've read about cases like this before.
Seriously?
Gawked Twilight, elated that the princess actually believed her.
It's certainly nothing common, but there have been a few instances of unicorns delving in dark magic who, as a result, were possessed or followed by the presence of a spirit. You must have accidentally resurrected one.
Explained Celestia.
But that's the thing! I only looked through a few pages of the book, but never used any of the spells inside, so I think the spirit must have some kind of connection with the book.
Curious. Well, I can tell you're certainly not lying, Twilight, because I too feel an obscure presence around your aura.
Celestia said. Say what?
You can sense him?
Beamed Twilight. Celestia nodded.
Faintly, but yes.
She then walked over to a fireplace mantel and levitated a small trinket. It was a small glass container, decorated with brass supports.
Fortunately, I might know of a spell that can extract the spirit from your presence, Twilight. It can make this narrator's soul become visible by placing him in this vial.
Whoa, wait a minute! This isn't supposed to happen!
Do you really think it'll work, Princess?
Asked Twilight.
Have faith, my young pupil. I've dealt with mysterious spirits before. Now, let me charge my magic.
Grinned Celestia. Oh no, you don't! Concentrating her yellow aura, Celestia cast it upon Twilight in the process of her spell. For several moments, the aura enveloped the young alicorn, and her silhouette seemed to change form. Finally, the aura dissipated and left Twilight just the same, except for a pair of white feathered wings, sharp talons, and a beak. Said Chicken Twilight.
Oh dear! That's not supposed to happen.
Celestia gasped. Again, Celestia recharged her magic and tried the spell again, to both change her student back to normal and rid her of the so-called spirit. But instead, all the spell did was replace the chicken features with slimy green skin, long springy legs, and a wide gaping mouth. Said Frog Twilight.
That's not right either.
Celestia tried once more to cast the spell. This time, Twilight was transformed entirely into a purple bison.
What's happening?
She panicked.
Something is wrong, Twilight. There's some kind of force interfering with my magic. I'll have to give it more strength.
Celestia told her. She charged up her magic again, but the spell only shrank Twilight to the size of a doll.
Princess Celestia, please stop!
Hold on. This spirit is more powerful than I thought.
Celestia began to sweat as she tried the spell again. This time, Twilight was changed completely into Applejack.
How in tarnation did I get here?
Another attempt, and Applejack was quickly replaced by Trixie.
The great and powerful Trixie demands an explanation.
Then the presence was taken over by Big Macintosh.
Nope.
After many more attempts, Twilight was eventually left with 7 extra wings, 3 extra horns, a tail 10 meters long, and mismatched colored eyes.
It's not working!
She cried as she bolted out of the castle.
Twilight? Wait!
Called Celestia. As she ran out of the castle, the extra appendages disappeared off of Twilight, and she stopped to gather her breath. Oh man, you should have seen the look on your face. Priceless.
Wait, that was you? How dare you interfere with the princess's magic?
She glared. Please, I'm not going to let any pony stuff me into a bottle. Not even your ruler can get rid of me.
Oh yeah? Well, I got a little backup plan. Let's see how well you narrate me when I'm the one doing the narrating.
Oh, this should be good. You have no idea what I'm capable of, sweetheart.
We'll see.
Twilight opened up a page in her novel and read aloud.
Daring Do emerged from the downing airplane miraculously unharmed. But her troubles weren't over yet, as she immediately found herself surrounded by the natives of Warhorse Island, readying their spears and darts. But Daring knew full well that they were after the sacred Stone of Fire, and she quickly grabbed it from beneath the rubble. After staring down her foes, Daring leaped into the nearby river, as the natives hurled their weapons in her direction.
Suddenly, Twilight put down the book and began to don a French maid's outfit.
What the? Where did this come from? I can't control my body!
Really, Twilight? It suits you!
Make it stop!
She screamed and quickly removed the costume. She gave a heavy, disdained sigh.
There really is no beating you, is there?
She groaned. Not by a long shot. Ever more disgruntled, Twilight sat with her head hung low on a table at Sugar Cube Corner. Usually a vanilla haze shake with cookie crumbles was enough to cheer her up after a hectic day, but somehow it wasn't doing the trick this time.
Gee, I wonder why.
She sulked.
Hey, Twilight! Who you talking to?
Said Pinky from behind the counter.
I'm not even gonna bother explaining.
Twilight groaned.
Oh, wait! You mean the narrator ghost in your head?
The pink pony jumped.
Yeah. Call me crazy and get it all out of your system.
She replied.
Oh, don't worry, Twi. I don't think you're crazy. In fact, I hear him too.
Twilight beamed.
You do? Seriously?
Yeah, he narrates everything I say and do as well.
Pinky said.
Oh, Pinky! That's such a relief! And I thought I was the only one. It must be your pinky senses or something.
Grinned Twilight.
Twilight, please! He's trying to say something to me!
Urged Pinky.
Oh! Sorry?
A pause was left as Pinky looked up and nodded in listening.
Yeah? Uh-huh. Oh, really? Oh, he did not. That is so true. They all really do look like that.
Pinky? He's not saying anything to you.
Twilight discerned.
Shh, Twilight! I really wish you wouldn't interrupt. It's hard enough to understand him with his French accent.
Glared Pinky.
French accent? He doesn't have a...
She replied.
Quiet! I'm sorry, Jacquez. Some ponies can be so rude.
It was then that Twilight realized that the goofy pink mare was not on the same level as her. With a heavy sigh, Twilight placed the money on the table and left the baker in her own little world.
You know, I'm glad you finally settled down, Jacquez. You seem much happier with your husband.
Said Pinky.
I don't know why I bother.
Twilight muttered to herself as she stepped outside. Qu'est-ce que c'est, Mademoiselle Sparkle?
Oh, stop it! I know she can't hear you.
She stomped her big mannish hoof in a hissy fit.
All right, that is it. Shut up! I don't care who you are, or what you are, or why you're in my head, but just go away! I don't want to hear your stupid, annoying voice anymore. All you've done is cause me trouble and embarrassment. You're just a nuisance. Please, just do me this one kind favor and get out. I don't want you. I don't need you. No pony needs you.
Well, okay then. If that's how you really feel.
Wait a minute. That was too much. I didn't want to sound mean. I just...
No, I hear what you're saying. I've, overstayed my welcome, and you deserve your space. I'll just go.
Narrator, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Narrator? Are you there? Hello? Oh dear.
Twilight? Are you alright?
Oh, hey Fluttershy. It's kind of a long story.
Is it about your narrator?
So you've heard about that too, huh? You probably think I'm nuts as well.
Not at all, Twilight. I may not understand it all too well, but I can try my best to. What's wrong? You look awfully distraught. Is the narrator saying something now?
Well, that's just it. I lost my temper, yelled at him, and he just disappeared. I think I may have offended him.
But I thought you didn't like him very much.
He was annoying and pesky, yes. But now that I think about it, he was just another soul. I thought he was just some supernatural prank or curse, but I now realize he actually has feelings. I should be glad that he's gone, but somehow I'm not.
Oh, Twilight, it's never too late to apologize. Maybe he's just giving you the silent treatment.
Even so, what would I say? That I'm actually okay with him commentating my every action?
Just talk to him like a real pony. If he's able to feel hurt, I'm sure he's able to forgive. Just tell him what you really feel. I'm sure he's intelligent enough to understand.
Well, maybe you're right, Fluttershy. I'll try talking to him. Narrator? Are you there? Look, I want to hear your voice again. If you're there, can you speak to me?
What is it?
Are you eating something?
I made a sandwich. What do you want?
Look, narrator, I can't say I'm not annoyed by what you do, but then again, I can't even begin to understand why you're here or how. Maybe it's not easy being a narrator of some pony's life. I think perhaps if I let you stay in my head, I can get to understand you better. Who knows? We might even become friends.
I thought I was just a quote-unquote nuisance.
I'm sorry. That was wrong of me to say. It's just that whenever I come across an issue that I can't understand or get a hold of, I start to overreact. I can't handle not knowing the source of a problem, and it drives me crazy. But this doesn't have to be a problem. If you understand me and my life, maybe I can get to know you and your life. It may take some getting used to, but I don't think that I'll mind having you around for as long as you need. So, what do you say? Hello? Narrator? Come on, don't leave me hanging.
Twilight stretched a smile across her pretty young face.
Well now, what's with the compliments all of a sudden?
She blushed. Well, I figured if I want to be a narrator, I have to be a gentle colt about it. And to be honest, I'm sorry for teasing and toying with you. Sometimes this job gets pretty stressful.
I can't imagine. But hopefully, I can get to understand. If you'd like to stick around for a while.
She fluttered her purple eyes in a knowing manner. You know something? I could have been destined to narrate any pony's life. An ordinary Joan Equestria. But you? Twilight? I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't think there's a pony out there who's experienced as many interesting stories as you have. It's like your whole life is worthy of retelling. So really, there's no pony else I would rather narrate than you. Twilight looked away and blushed.
That's actually pretty sweet. But I'm really not that special.
I beg to differ, Princess. What do you have on tap for tomorrow?
Why are you asking me? You should know all about it.
She winked. Ah, yes, good point. Twilight had been preparing for a big excursion tomorrow with Princess Luna to find an ancient relic of the Crystal Empire. With a spring in her step, she trotted off with her non-mannish hooves back home to get some shut-eye. Tomorrow would hold more twists and turns for her life. It seemed that every day for this humble yet extraordinary mare was just another great story. The end.